I'd just like to start off with this video by making an apology, all right? Not because my wall on this side is blank and it's driving me nuts, but apparently you can't afford a Corrado for under $52 million anymore, as previously discussed in my last video, which made my friends in Europe who have an easier access to fun cars than Amber Heard does shitty lies, and I'm sorry, okay? So instead of a Corrado, get yourself a Bonneville and be happy with that odd 8-cylinder couch wagon, because that's kind of a fun car, Not really, don't do that. But if you do find yourself in the market for a car in today's day and age for a college commuter, outside of a prayer for a lottery, you're in luck because you've got me, baby. I'm Alex, Alex.Martini with 2 underscores. 2! Damn it, all right? And today we're talking about some budget enthusiast cars for college students, or if you're just feeling a little bit fruity, all right? You like my shirt? It's nostalgic, right? Take a look at the back. Way more exciting than that wall. It's that wall, okay? And if you're looking to pick one up, you can actually do so over at alexmartini.net. And if not, a subscribe or a comment would mean the world to me. Truly, I'm still responding to every single comment in the comment sections below. Now, for the criteria of this video, we're gonna try to stay under 15 Gs, have a little bit of a cargo space for the furniture that you probably never plan to actually set up at your house, and enough horsepower to entertain like your Friday night fling that you find at the sticky floor bar at the barely checks IDs, okay? And it isn't gonna cause another heart attack by the parents who want something that can do a little bit of it all, but isn't gonna be enough for you to cry when you have to look at the insurance bill and you're gonna have to use FAFSA to pay for it. And just for like shits and giggles, if you're not there yet, drop a comment on what you drove in college. I always enjoy that. It's fun to look back at the past. All right, I had a couple 2-tree vehicles. The AMG was the best. Which, speaking of AMG, let's get the ugly version of the E55 AMG out of the way because it's gotta be on the bucket list. Now, I get it, the face looks a little bit like a robin got its head flattened by a window, but man, is it a great car to start with on like your liberal arts degree. It's an exciting car. The M113 modified engine making 349 horsepower and 391 foot-pounds of torque could handle a 4.9 second 0 to 60. Not only that, but the 5.4 liter was a beautiful motor that while it had a couple 2-tree indiscretions like this fucking blank wall, it's still good enough to pick up for like the college days, you know? Now, I could be argued that yes, it is rear-wheel drive, and I could argue that the brakes are a teeny bit more expensive than we'd all like, but I still think it's worth it because you can just grab like a 30 rack, a few of your buddies, check the vacuum lines for any sort of dry rot, and make sure you invest in some winter tires and a couple extra set of brakes, and you're pretty much set to go for any time that you're gonna need to work on the car. If that's not enough, in the winter, just get some winter tires, okay? A few sacks of sand for the trunk and you're practically set, okay? Winter tires work wonders, and I'm shocked that nobody actually buys these when they're up north. There's nothing classier than an AMG Mercedes with a clean paint job, some lowering links if you go into that, and some window tint, and you're gonna look like a fucking balla. I promise you, all right? But maybe, just maybe, the European scene just isn't your thing. Maybe the ag degrees don't look kindly on anything that's not a bow tie or 4-letter word that rhymes with Lord. That's fine, okay? We can appeal to those 6 people, all right? There's cars that have some space, even if they don't have the doors, okay? The classiness and nostalgia that I think is coming back in popular ways that I think with a little floral shirt and maybe some pit vipers could possibly work. Now let me introduce you, okay, to the car you probably never thought about, but you see all the time. The Ford Taurus SHO, man. 2010 to 2012 years can be snagged for right around 12 grand right now, and you can get everything that was originally introduced. It was supposed to only be a limited production model. Now, I love a 3rd generation, but for those ugly, I love a 3rd generation, okay? But those are ugly for about 95% of the generation. Oh, those are ugly for about 95% of the population. So the 4th gen can do well as a cop car lookalike and also be good for you, okay? What you get is all-wheel drive. You get a twin-turbo EcoBoost engine that comes with 365 horsepower and 350 foot-pounds of torque. That 3.5 liter can also get modified to like the moon. You get a CVF intercooler, Wagner tuning performance, and an exhaust, and you're pretty much set. Just an EcoBoost tune can get you 50 to 80 horsepower and 70 to 120 foot-pounds of torque on top of the existing power, all right? So if you want something that's cool and domestic, you buy that. Does it remind you of your grandma? Yeah, probably, and it should. Is it as cool as a 2022 Subaru WRX? Cooler, to be honest. Those fenders need to go somewhere else, okay? But man, this is a good pick. Now, if your parents are more conservative over you than Christian Horner is with Max Verstappen, you may be even more limited in what you can pick up, which is fine. Maybe you can't get an AMG. Maybe you can't get a Ford SHO because it's got an acronym, okay? Maybe you need the equivalent of a base, something that can hide underneath plain sight. Now, you can still be interesting-ish, And there's enough to look at here that maybe with some coilovers, some tint, some wheels and exhaust, you can make it look like the car isn't a stock Saab 9-3. All right, now the mid-2000s 9-3 has everything that you need, okay? You want a convertible, get the 9-3 convertible, all right? You want a wagon, get the Sport Combi, okay? You want a turbo to brag about, get the 2.8 liter turbocharged V6 that's in the Era, okay? Now those things are fun as hell and very cool. Now, the cars aren't crazy in any single category, mostly because it's Swedish, but they are fun. In fact, you can get a 2008 with the facelift, you get a pretty good looking car with updated LED lighting, door panels that have cool fancy lighting, you get a revised bumper that doesn't look so odd, and a couple other bits and pieces. Now, to be honest, they do remind me a little bit like the Swedish version of an Audi C5 A6, but with better looks and a bumper that's actually proper and deserves to be on a car. You can also find these cars everywhere if you look for a good price and a multitude of different trims, because a lot of people own these cars, you just never really look for them. Now, I'd go with a red or a black color personally. If you can find it, just murder it out. Keep it as simple as you can with these cars, because if you're on a budget, there's nothing easier to match than pretty much everything being black, except maybe some like tinted wheels, some like brushed wheels. Now throw a tune on it, you can still have enough fun with the turbocharged motor without the insurance thinking that you bought a missile, and with your parents feeling comfortable with the fact that your car looks like a sports car. But speaking of drift missiles that you could get once you get that little piece of paper that tells companies that you're capable of sitting in useless classes for weeks on end to learn about invisible numbers that aren't even real, you may want to have a car that now can be something else. It can finally shed the skin and go into a different group, and it can finally be the young, enthusiastic teenager it wants to be. Look no further than the Lexus IS300. Now, the first generation of these cars are pretty incredible. They came in manual, they came in automatic, you get a 2-liter 3SGE or a 3-liter 2JZ, wagon and sedan options, 4-door, sharp looks, Lexus reliability, and enough aftermarket support that once you're done with school, you can go buy a Toyota Camry as your daily, and this can become your drift missile on the weekends. This can be the car that this is the thing that has the tattoos, okay? You get to brag about the fact that this car won Japan's Car of the Year honor, which is a pretty good deal, all right? It's pretty cool. You get the clear taillights that are reminiscent of the early 2000s if you want to go buy those. And you have a car that holds up, that with like looks 2 decades later. Now, they won't have as much horsepower as the others. I think this one comes with like a smidge over like 200, but it's still enough to be content with until you throw your angle arms, your terribly broken fenders, and some random slap stickers on the rear window, and you're ready to rock and roll. And just throw a wild card in here. Here's another one that you could be thinking of that's way different than everything else that you may hate me for. That's the Fiat 500 Abarth. Now, starting with the Fiat 500 Abarth nomenclature, okay? These are probably the hardest to get in the price range we set, and they aren't exactly the most spacious, nor are they really anything that you look for, but there's enough space in the back with the seats down for your bags, and it's small enough to pretty much park anywhere on campus without getting in trouble. Now, I actually remember a friend of mine had one of these and parked in a half spot between the bicycles and one of the first actual stalls on the UW Eau Claire campus. Him and Miatas were the only ones that were able to do it, and he always got to park closer than anybody else, so I was always constantly jealous of the fact that he could do it, but I couldn't, okay? And to be fair, these cars do sound wicked cool if you've heard one in person. They're fun, they're spirited, albeit a little bit tiny, okay? Now, you can get fully loaded ones with leather seats, you get a turbocharged engine that sounds like a mini Ferrari, panoramic sunroof for right around $15K. You just need to be careful with the reliability and the maintenance records, because these Fiat 500 Abarths suffer a little bit of the same thing that Mini Coopers do, where just random shit just breaks for no reason, okay? Now, you can get a little bit of a kick to the wheels horsepower thing from like 132 to 178 with some tunes. You have people going into bigger turbos, you have coilovers, over fender options, and you can actually get it up to 225 to like 250 horsepower. Now, most of our money right now is probably gonna be going towards books and overpriced coffee, but the Abarth with just an exhaust and a tune should be enough to make you smile for the 4-year degree that you're looking for, in hopes that you make it to the end, because accounting 312 is absolutely gonna whoop your ass. Now, there's countless cars on the market that you could pick up for college, and it goes without saying that, yeah, you can pick up a 350. Yeah, a G35 is okay. Yes, an R32 VW is under 15, and even the C4 Corvette could fit the bill, okay? But 2 of those are more common than accounting for 16, and third is still an ugly duckling, and the last one only works 3 months out of the year up north, to which for the other 9 months, you're pretty much stuck just riding a bicycle. But what do you think? Would you pick up any of these for college, or what did you own when you were going through the grind? Let me know below, and of course, please don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we will see you later. Peace.